Hey folks, Jonathan here. Really bright out. Hopefully you can see on this camera. Okay, we had joked about this stuff on here, but I finally found out the real story on this. And I didn't notice it, but on the side of it, it says NC Stud and has some numbers back here. Okay, I talked to the original owner of this thing and that I had got it from, and of course this was not the race car, and which we kind of figured that anyway. But here's the deal: his brother in the late 50s, early 60s, actually had one of these. It wasn't the Champion, it was the Commando, I guess, with the V8. But he said this car reminded him of it, and that's why he done this. But these are actual championships and the 25 unbeaten races that his brother did in the other car, and it was called the NC Stud. And he said that some of these tracks was actually dirt drag strip, which I didn't know they ran, but they drag raced it for quite a while. And actually he got into it and was telling me about one of the races that was $100 bet on the race, and 1959, 1960, $100 was quite a bit of money. So anyway, the car was unbeaten. Of course, it was a V8 car. It wasn't a 6 like this, but he said that it reminded him of it, and that's why he done that. But that's all the information on his brother's car. So anyway, so it was called the NC Stud. So that's the story on that. The other thing, I got a little bit of flack about this carburetor situation. The fact that I didn't clean the carburetor really well. I didn't get the idle circuit out. But let me explain something here. There's a lot of people that don't know anything about carburetors, and it's hard for me to believe, but I guess it's been what, 88 since they've used carburetors. And like my son, he wasn't born until 91, so he's 27 years old, and so there was never a carburetor on a original or factory car in his lifetime. So mechanics now, younger generation mechanics and stuff, don't have any experience on them. So the fact that I cleaned this carburetor on the inside, I wasn't worried about external appearance. Didn't want to soak it because I didn't want to take the gaskets off. They were stuck to one side of it. I was trying to keep from tearing anything up because I didn't have a kit, wasn't going to order a kit. My point is that why would I order a kit and spend the time soaking it, spend the time building the carburetor, and then we start this engine up and it's got a rod hammering, and I've wasted the money, wasted the time, and I didn't want to do that. So we actually accomplished our goal. Okay, even though it didn't idle, we found out the engine was good, and that was the goal. So the fact that the idle circuit was stopped up in this, to me, was hopefully educational to somebody that don't mess with carburetors, don't know anything about carburetors. Now, for the rest of their life, when they run into that, if they're working on a car with a carburetor, they'll know that the idle circuit's clogged up because of that. So I wouldn't trade that failure for it to have been perfect. I could have pulled the carburetor back off, not shown anybody that, fixed the idle circuit, put it back on, and started it up, and this thing idled like a brand new one, and everybody would have been amazed, but it wouldn't have been the truth. But anyway, that's the deal with the carburetor. I was sort of glad that it turned out the way it did, because that way somebody gets to learn something from it. So I don't mean to be rambling on, but it's just it is the way it is. I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to be the way I am. I'm not going to I'm not an actor. So anyway, we're going to see if we can get on this. We put water in it, and there's one hole in the front of the radiator leaking out. It's leaking out the front freeze plug right behind the oil fill in there, and it's leaking at the top radiator hose and the bottom radiator hose. So we've got 4 leaks to deal with. Radiator is in really good shape. It don't look dirty inside or anything, so we're going to try to go ahead and fix it. We're not going to do anything to replace it or nothing like that. I wish the emergency brake worked on it, because I'd love to go ahead and get this thing running and cooling to where I can move it around a little bit. But with no brakes and it rolling really easy, I don't want to really do that. So anyway, we'll get on it and see what we can get figured out. I'm going to see about a gas tank and go ahead and try to make this at least where we can do a drive on it, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do from there as to whether we're going to weld anything up on it or if we're just going to you know, move it on or whatever. We'll figure it out as we go. I hadn't looked at this tank, but I'm sure it's going to be bad. I mean, I don't have any expectations of gas tanks when I buy these old cars. So anyway, we're going to get at this and see what we can get figured out. Starts good on the 6 volt, so we're not going to even attempt to change it to a 12 volt system. Wiring wise, we'll have to go through and replace basically every wire on this car if we keep it. Believe it or not, as you can see, all these wires are bare. The headlights work, the parking lights work on the front. So that's really amazing with the wires being like they are. And that's one reason I keep the battery unhooked, because there's no way that I'm going to leave it sit here with the battery hooked up with the wiring that's on this. Okay folks, pulled the carburetor, fixed the idle circuit, start her back up here. It's going to run alright. Still didn't clean the outside of it, so it's still ugly. It's like me, ugly on the outside, but don't mind working on the inside. Choke it. Got no help from me today. So there we go. It's get a little bit of gas. Oh, come on and give it a little gas. I'm going to lift the exhaust thing. A little bit of a sputter, but not bad. Now we know the accelerator pump is not the best in the world. With that leather seal, but it may swell out as we do this, you know, running more. So there we go. Looks like the kit. I might idle it down a little bit too. Just will idle a little bit lower. Okay, we got her idle down. It's probably running, I don't know, 400 RPM like that. Still got a little bit of sputter, but I mean, we didn't regrind the valves or lap them or anything. Alright. Okay, we're changing the wheels out on the Studebaker. Putting them 68, 69 Ford Trino, Mustang, whatever you want to call them. All different. I think they use them on the Mercury Cyclones and stuff too. But I ordered 4 trim rings because we've only got this one. And I had to order 1 center because we was missing 1 center. So I got to do a little work on the inside of one of the wheels where the lugs are at. So I'm going to get it in the mill and weld it up and recut it. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a 60-degree angle. Old lug nuts used to be 45, but I'll check it beforehand to make sure. And you got to make sure you match your taper on your car, or your lug nuts on your car, to the taper of the wheel you're putting on when you mess with old stuff like this, because you know a lot of the really old stuff was 45 degree. And a lot of the newer stuff is 60 degree. So, something to remember. Don't need wheels falling off. So, I think it's going to look okay. Alright, I'm going to give you an update on the Nash here. Okay, little update on the Nash. Wheel cylinders are on. Brake hoses are on. Got some of the lines done. Got the wheel cylinders off the back. I don't have wheel cylinders for the back yet. They're exactly the same as the front, except for the fact that the back runs a smaller bore. They would actually bolt on, but I don't know how it would do with the bigger bore. So might want to do a little research before I do that. I can't find any advertised as rear, only front. So anyway, what else did we get done? We put a new starter switch on it, foot pedal switch that goes under the clutch. Got the radiator out. As you can see, I don't know what happened to it or how it happened, but there's our issue. Now, we could easily go in here and solder these off, follow them to the other end, cut them, pull them out, solder the ends off. But I don't want to do that on here. I want to try to find a aluminum that is basically the size of this and put in, and then we'll go from there. We'll figure it out. Anyway, that's what we're doing on it. And hopefully we'll have something together on this soon. Found out that through the measurements that a 35-36 Chevrolet gas tank is very close to this size-wise. I think I can make it work, and so we may try to get it on soon. All the wheels have been demounted and ready to sandblast, and we'll get them sandblasted and painted. These ones had a double stripe around them. I don't know if he's going to go back with the stripe or what. Got beauty rings for these, just don't have any center caps, so we've got to find the caps for it. All right. Okay, tires that came off of the Studebaker are actually a set of Kumho's white wall, narrow white wall, and I was hoping to be able to put these on the Nash on the original rims, but I got to looking, and you see where they're cracking. All the way down between the treads, the tire's not gonna ride right, so we're just gonna have to get a set part. Hey Noah, I'm just a bear in my natural habitat, Studebaker. You ain't never heard that, have you? It's on the bubble.
Really? Yeah, we do have some water in it. We just don't have all our leaks fixed. So anyway, it does move. You got to pull the clutch back up with your hand, which is not a good thing.
I can get that work free like I did the 50.
And I'm wondering if maybe somebody was working on the brakes, because both of these nuts are loose.
Did we check the front ones?
The front's on the bearings. I don't think we'll have that issue there, but this one's loose too. The washer's loose in it. So we've got to do the brakes anyway. We just want to see if it would move. So time to order some brake parts. So we'll get that done and see if we can get some brake stuff in. And I might get Noah to pressure wash this thing, clean it up some. It's not ready for the ball yet. All right. We appreciate everybody watching, and till next time. Bye.
Bye.